Well, good to see you all. Grace and peace. This is Dr. Lathan Wood coming to you again. I heard some great feedback from our sermon on Sunday dealing with a savings account. Do you have one? And I just want to kind of do some recap on some points just to make sure that everyone was clear and just to come back and make sure we have some great content. I was concerned about you, that you didn't miss anything. So I want to kind of come back and just kind of break some of the things that we were talking about down once again in regards to a savings account. Our foundational scripture was in John chapter 6, verse 12, where it says, when they were filled, he said unto his disciples, gather up the fragments that they remain, that nothing be lost. That's good news. Again, when they were filled, when the whole crowd, when the multitude, when the 5,000 men plus all their family were filled, he said unto his disciples, the 12 that had just fed them, that had said that were tired and had their voided vacation, he says to them, now go a little further and gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. And I want to reiterate the prophetic word to you. I pray that in this season, nothing be lost. Nothing be lost. That this season, nothing be lost. You're not going to lose your family, not going to lose your car, and your home. Nothing be lost. This season, you'll be able to retain. Why? Because you're going to have a good savings account. And so we dealt with that. The first angle we want to deal with was the angle of the lad. The lad. The lad. It was amazing that out of everyone that was present, he was the one that was found to actually have some level of victuals. That's old school. Y'all don't know what victuals are. Some level of victuals. He had the 5 crackers or the 5 biscuits, however you want to say it. I know loaves, but in that context, it wasn't the sunbeam loaves. It was biscuits or some personal bread. And 2 fish, 2 pickled fish, which were the garnish or the condiment that went with the bread, because in their culture, the bread was the main course. But nevertheless, for this young man to have this level of food available, I know we say it was his lunch. We don't know if it was his dinner. We just know he showed up with it. Andrew found him, and then he was able to be found. So the angle we want to come from was the fact that if out of everyone, he was the one found with his lunch, maybe, I know we think it was his lunch, but what if the young man was a vendor? What was he? What if he was a lunch vendor, one of those street meat guys that sell hot dogs in New York on the side street, or sell some people say the strange meat. Anyway, maybe he was a vendor, and maybe Andrew was his last customer. Can you consider that? And the principle we want to bring out with that is, do you have something left in case Jesus needs it in this season? What's in your hand? What's in your hand? Just in case this be the season where there's a demand, where Jesus places you in a situation where there's demand. Do you have something in your hand? Something in your hand that Jesus can use? We were in church, but I know you may be riding in your car, sitting in your home. I would tell you to touch your neighbor and say, what do you have in your hand? What do you have in your hand that Jesus can use? And this is the season that we're in as a church, as a movement, where the Lord is commissioning us. He's teaching us. He's pushing us. He's challenging us to have something in our hands. You never know when there's going to be a miracle that's going to be needed with what's just in your hand. You never know when Jesus is going to pull on what's in your hand. You never know when you need to have something in a savings account or something saved up for Jesus to use. Are you in need of a miracle? The question still prevails. What's in your hand? And for this young man, this lad, it says that word lad translates to be a young man, or he's probably a preteen in our context. But nevertheless, I brought this point out for him to actually have food left over. Now, I want you to look at that phenomenon, especially from our parents who are parents of athletes, parents of young people who have young people appetites. For him to have any food left over at this particular is a miracle. It's a phenomenon. My God. So for him to actually have something left over means maybe the intentionality. And because the scripture actually tells us earlier in John, it says when Jesus asked Philip and the other disciples, hey, what do you have? And he said, the scripture says he asked them that because he already knew what he was going to do. So maybe the lad was a plant. He was planted there, but nevertheless being planted there to be able to bring a thing for a thing. My God, thank you, Lord, for causing there to be people with something that seems insignificant, but is where my miracle is going to come from. Oh, that's good news there. And so this lad who, again, if he was a vendor, that pretty much means he sold out. Y'all missed it. I said if he was a vendor and all he had left was 2 fish and 5 loaves, maybe that was the last of his product. You missed it again. I'm going to say it again. That maybe if he was a vendor, that's the last of his product that was left. So what does that mean? He was a vendor that sold out. My God, that's good news. Because I want to prophesy to somebody that's watching right now that maybe this is your season where Jesus says, I'm going to take you a little bit left from your product and cause you to sell out. Is there any business owner that's looking to sell out? Is there any business owner look like I have no product left? I got to restock. I got to stock back up. I brought this much because I thought only this many people going to buy it, but now I don't have any more product left. May that be your portion, but then also may there be maybe some planning so you'll have some more, so you don't miss business. And that's point one. That in this season, many of us are just minding our business. We're just minding our business, just doing what we do, minding our business. We don't want to hear about, it's the beginning of the year, so I've heard so many saints say they don't want to hear about anybody else's business. I got my own business to take care of. I don't want to hear about anybody else's stuff. I got to take care of my own stuff. I got to deal with my own stuff. But here's the one problem with minding your own business. Somehow, come on, saints, walk with me. Somehow we keep showing up to the meeting with nothing. So while you're minding your business, we keep showing up to the meeting with nothing. It says the crowd were chasing after Jesus, but they're chasing after Jesus, but didn't prepare for a Jesus moment. And I find I've been in church all my life. All my pew babies say something back to your boy. That many times in the charismatic persuasion, and many times in our context, we love Jesus. We chase after him. We love him with our all. We're a soldier in the army of the Lord. We shout, we praise, we dance, we speak in tongues. But at the end of the day, do you have anything left? What do you have left? How's your personal business doing? I know your prayer life is good, but how's your checking account? I know you can sing real good, but how is your personal affairs? Are they in order? Do you have anything to show for all the Jesus that you're serving? In this season, I'm speaking well over every person that's a part of this church, every person that's under the sound of my voice and my vision, that we all have something to show for. We all have something. We got, as you're minding your business, that you won't come to the meeting with nothing. We're coming with something, and we're prepared because we're prepared for let's say a rainy day. We're not just chasing after Jesus. We're chasing after Jesus with something because we've changed our lives. This is the year. Come on. This is the year that he breaks. Come on. This is the year that we become better. And this is also the year that we lead bold. We lead boldly. We lead bold because we're better, and we're better because it broke. Come on here. And so I speak that well, even though some of you all that are eavesdropping on our recap here, that this be the year that it breaks for you. This also be the year that you become better. I want us to be better men, better women, better husbands, better wives, better brothers, better sisters, better sons, better daughters, better fathers, better. This is the year to be better, but some stuff has to break for us to be better. Aren't you sick of the cycles? Aren't you sick of the same things, patterns over and over and over again? This is the season that it breaks because I got to be better. I wish you would just tap yourself and say, I got to be better. I got to be better. And not just making a New Year's resolution. No, this is where we're going to get some practical steps on getting this thing done. Are you with me? Are you with me? I believe it. Let's keep going. So minding your business, but they keep showing up to the meeting but don't have anything. Mind God. And so you need something in your hand because just in case Jesus needs it, what's in your hand? Amen. And so next thing is that the challenge becomes after you've been minding your business, Jesus starts meddling in your business. Ain't that a mess? Jesus starts meddling in your business where he forces us to look at what we have and not excuse what we don't. That's when he's been being a little messy. He's forcing us to look at what we have. What do you have? But don't make an excuse for what you don't have. What am I saying? How's that found in the text? The interesting thing, if the lad is the only one that has something, the lad is the one that had the 2 fishes and the 5 loaves, the lad, then why in the scripture, when he asked the disciples, what do you have? They said, all we have is. Let's go through this again. It's the lad that brought it. But then when Jesus asks, what do you have? They say, all we have. So they're pretty much taking credit for something they didn't bring. My God. They're taking credit for somebody else's stuff. It's like when people try to name drop about who they know. And, oh, my cousin has a friend name. Or that's, oh, yeah, I know. No, no, no. Stop name dropping. And this is where he challenges his disciples. He's meddling in their business. They were minding their business because, again, go check out some of our Bible studies. They were actually supposed to be on vacation. Come away. Let's go away privately. The crowd finds them. And then they're found just trying to mind their business, just trying to get away. He starts to heal and do great miracles amongst the crowd. And then he challenges them and says, let's feed them. And they say, well, no, send them away. No, you feed them. No, send them away. No, you feed them. We don't have anything. And that's the challenge. That in this season, as kingdom people, we need to have something for the multitude. You never know what Jesus wants to do with what you do have, but not stop making excuses for what we don't. It's a challenge because when you don't have any savings, it's a challenge. It's a challenge when your credit's not good. It's a challenge when you have more bills than money. It's a challenge when with things are asked for the kingdom, things are asked for in ministry. And your future self says, I wish I would. One day I'm going to be able to do it. And your present self says, but I ain't got it, so I'm just going to sit here. It's a challenge. And it's almost like Jesus is being messy. He's meddling. And sometimes we need to be confronted with the truth of where we really are. Sometimes we have to take off the filter off of our phones and just show how we really are. Look in the mirror and look at who we really are. Not from a place of self-condemnation, not from a place of self-pity, oh me, oh my, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. No, it's a place where let's confront where we are. If your credit score is low, let's get it up. If you don't have a savings account, let's find a way to get some stuff established. Because here's one thing I also find: people do what they really want to do. I've been in church a long time, and folks do what they want to do. And when they don't want to do something, they get real confused. Folks do what they want to do, and when they don't want to do something, they get real confused, like they don't know how to do it. And so my endeavor, my behavioral purpose, my objective for these next few sessions, I don't think I'm going to hoop and give you a lot of emotive moments that appeal to your charismatic tintellate to feel like you've been inspired. No. I want to inspire you with information. Can we do better? Here's some practical points that address where you really are. Challenge. We're going to meddle in your business. As you're minding your business, we're going to meddle in your business. And so that's what Jesus forces them to do. Look at what do you have? What do you have? We talked about these four things, even in regards to the four things we talked about. Do you have a savings account? It was a savings account. Is some account that has some savings that you don't touch except there's a rainy day or for emergencies? I know some people are saying, I can't save when I'm surviving. I'm just trying to survive. So if I'm in survival mode, I can't get to savings mode because right now I'm in survival mode and I'm going to keep pulling from my savings. I think many people, when we did a survey on this past Sunday, many people, when I did the questionnaire, how many have ever had a savings account, and many people raise their hand. The challenge, the meddle in the business is if I say how many still have active savings accounts, still have active savings accounts. And that's when many hands go down, because most times those savings accounts come from an inspired momentum. I'm going to save, I'm going to save, I'm going to save. And then we're supposed to leave that, but it's hard to leave that when you're in survival mode or something comes up or you feel like you need it. And so do you have a savings account? But number two, do you have any investments? Is there something you have that's an asset that you're gaining that's going to help you out in another day? Do you have any investments? Do you have something that you're sowing into, whether it be a 401k or whether it be IRA or all the little letters? Or do you have some kind of property or something that is an investment where you're putting money in that's going to help you out later on? Investments. Or here's number three: do you have good credit? Something that reflects your character, something that reflects that you pay your bills, something that reflects that you abide by even your debt to income ratio, because there's so many different factors that actually impact credit. And so though I know some people say, well, get a credit card and then build from there. There's different strategies. But how does your credit look? How does it show? How do you pay your bills? Can you pay your bills? Have you thought about your bills? Are your bills? Do you have outstanding bills? Do you know who Bill is? And so from a credit standpoint, how is your credit? And so one tidbit I gave the congregation that has kind of helped me. It's called myfico.com. Myfico.com. I shouldn't give them a plug, but I'm just tell you, it was good for me. It's good for the goose. It's good for the gander. Because you got to get a grip on your credit. You got to get a grip on it. And so savings, do you have any savings? Do you have any investments? Do you have any credit? And then do you know your net worth? Your net worth is when you pretty much look at all your liabilities, take them away from your assets. And then the left is what your net worth. This is what people with wherewithal talk about. Oh, that person's net worth is this. Oh, yeah, talk to him. Because net worth shows a level of fecundity or efficacy, big words. Are you productive and are you effective in being productive? How well are you doing with life? How well are you doing with your financial portfolio? What's your net worth? What are you worth? And here's the challenge. If you don't have any savings, you don't have any investments, you have poor credit, I'm pretty sure your net worth is pretty low. And so this is where you want to get the awareness to the people of God, especially in our community, in our context. Y'all know what I'm saying. I got to be careful because I'm not trying to have another HR violation. I don't need to get written up again. But I said that well. We want to bring an awareness because sometimes we've not been taught any of this. So we keep coming to the meeting empty-handed because nobody even taught us how to have something outside the meeting. We're chasing Jesus for a miracle, but we wouldn't need a miracle if we were prepared. Say it again, Reverend. I said they wouldn't have needed a miracle if they had it came prepared. If the only person that had food was the lad, what was the rest of the folks doing? All the mothers that had kids, did they just chase after Jesus and didn't think about feeding their kids? Did all the wives, they just chase after Jesus and didn't think about feeding their husbands and feeding their families? All the men that were chasing after him and coming after him from all around the city, didn't any of them think about, well, I need to provide for my family? They all chased him. So I'm coming from this conjecture, this angle, stating that the crowd came and needed a miracle because they were unprepared. And that's where we have to stop and say, is that what our life looks like? Where we keep coming week in, week out, church, those that do come to church, shade intended. Are you coming empty-handed because during Monday through Saturday, you have nothing left? Are you struggling from week to week, paycheck to paycheck? Have you even looked and examined where you are? We did another survey. This is a season where we're really trying to find out from the saints what's going on. And so we did a survey of a few people, let's say 40 people, and we asked the question, do you have a budget? Simple question, do you have a budget? Half of them, of the population said yes. The other half said no. Half said yes, half said no. Wow. So that means half of people have no regard, no inkling of what's happening. They're just living from day to day. And if it's there, you do something with it. If it's not there, you can't do anything with it. There's no plan, there's no budget, there's no nothing, don't know numbers, they're just existing. So that will already let you know they're probably amongst the crowd needing a miracle because they don't have anything to show for it. We're just talking about a savings account. I ain't being messy, I'm just saying what I'm saying. Well, watch this. The next question was, do you stick to it? Dum, 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 dum. You got half of them said, I have a budget. The next question was, do you stick to it? And the majority of them said no. Over 90% said no. So I have a plan, but I have not worked the plan. I have numbers on the page, but I have not worked them. I don't adhere to them. I disregard them. Now, I'm really trying to be euphemistic. I'm really trying to give a softer blow. But if I was to talk like some people who would be like more stern, I could hear someone saying on one side, well, that's stupid. That means you don't even care. And then I could hear the person that is living it says, no, I do care. It's just there's some circumstances that cause me to avoid it. Yeah, I can hear the person that says, come to avoid it. Then what you doing? Because you keep asking me for money, but you ain't got no plan to. And then the next person says, well, just help me out one more time. So there's a battle of enablement, ignorance, avoidance, all happening. And these conversations take place. I'm not dealing with anything outside of church. I'm dealing with inside the church walls. I'm dealing inside the church walls. I'm dealing with the body. And these things happen all the time. And we hear messages of hope. If you sow this seed, God's going to bless you. God's going to turn it around. So guess what we do? Like lottery, we take a chance. We're going to play that ticket, and then I've seen people lie and stand up in lines because they think, and say they're giving something, you just tap it and there's nothing come on from Cash App. I've seen all kind of things. I've seen people because they feel like they're obligated, they take from this, so they pull from the rent to kind of pull, and it's like a lottery. That's gonna be my next sermon. Tune in next week. We'll let you know what it is. Because there's an actual psychology to gambling, there's a psychology to lottery, there's a psychology, and there's a thing I learned called money pain. I ain't gonna give you too much now because y'all will get too greedy. But money pain, which is an actual real psychological phenomena on how cash impacts the brain in regards to pain sensors versus credit, which impacts different. But that's just a precursor, just a little carrot. So if you have half the people saying they have a budget, but 90% of them saying they don't adhere to it, and then watch this, another 40% when we ask, do you tithe? 40% said no. Father, help us. So now this leaves the local church into a quandary because we have people who we're saying, trust God, believe God, honor the Lord, give him the first fruits, and give him the first fruits. The tithe is the first. We're giving all these scriptures to talk about the first, but the problem is I can't give him what's right because I keep giving him what's left over. And if nothing's left, then there's nothing to give him. Let's go through this again. I can't give what's right because I'm stuck giving him what's left. And if there's nothing left, there's nothing to give. So I keep coming to the meeting. I keep coming to the meeting empty-handed, needing another miracle. And then the message across the pulpit is, God's getting ready to turn it around. Oh, turn it around for me, God. God's getting ready to bless you. Bless me, Lord. God's getting ready to do a thing. Do it for me, God. In other words, give me another miracle that gives me the dopamine, gives me the inspiration, gives me encouragement that I can continue in my practices because God's going to bail me out. But I'm sorry, there'll be no more bailouts. Maybe this is a season where we challenge, we stop. And instead of enabling dysfunction because of misinterpreted messages, instead of enabling dysfunction due to misinterpreted messages. And hear me clearly. I'm a church kid. I love a good message. I love a good hoop. I love a good prophetic word. We all need some level of hope. We all need some level of encouragement. We all need something that builds us up and lifts us up and gives us some sense of there's hope for tomorrow. But every once in a while, you need what's called grace and truth. Grace and truth. Here's how the balance of grace and truth is. You've messed up, so you need grace for the truth of the fact that you've messed up. At the same time, we have to address the truth of why you need grace. Now, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. So sometimes you got to wrestle with the truth of what it really is. If you don't handle money well, tell the truth. I'm not good with money. But now we can't stay there because there's grace for that. Look at your neighbor and say, there's grace for that. There's grace for that. But we can't stay there because if we stay there, then we'll never fix it. It'll never get fixed because we're never honest. We're never honest with the real picture. We're never honest with it. So we need grace and truth. Grace and truth. I gave the illustration of someone who didn't fully do their makeup. And yeah. I'm trying to say this right because I'm on camera, and but they take a picture, and there's a little prompt on the phone that gives a filter to the picture, so they don't look like this in reality, but the picture says I do. So what I show the world is the picture. Meanwhile, my world shows the truth. Go through this again. The filter on the camera changes how I really look. That's grace. The problem, though, is that I look the way I look in reality. That's truth. If I live by the picture, I'm living in a fallacy. I'm living in a fantasy. I'm living in a fake world that makes me feel better about the truth, about the reality I'm living in. And this is a season where we got to put the phone down, take the filter off, look in the mirror, and address what we need to fix, period. That's practical. It's not a laying of hands. It's not, and some stuff is prayer. I'm not taking away from prayer. I'm not taking away from hope. I'm not taking away from any of that. But there is a practicality where you have to stop and say, it's me. I need to do things better. I got to find different ways. And if you don't know, ask somebody. You can learn how to steal a car on YouTube. You can learn how to smoke weed on YouTube. You can learn how to grow weed on YouTube. You can learn how to do anything good, bad, ugly, whatever you need. It's all on YouTube. And guess what? It's on YouTube for free. Just endure the ads. It's on YouTube for free. We can learn what we want to learn if we want to. And that's where I'm presenting I'm laying the table. I'm trying to give practical tips to address where we are so we can get better. Why? Because it's the year that it breaks. It's going to break for me. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor. It's getting ready to break. Neighbor, it's going to break. Look at your other neighbor and say, neighbor, it's getting ready to break for you. It's getting ready to break for you. Yeah, all that. It's getting ready. This is the year that it breaks. But this is also a year that it gets better. And sometimes it has to get truthful before it gets better. Because if it's getting better, we have to be honest of where it was. My God. And so I talked about savings, investments, credit, net worth. Now, the thing I want to also press into, y'all all right? Everybody good? It's been a good recap, just recapping. Is the battle between my present self and my future self. My present self and my future self. What's the problem between my present self and my future self? My future self is perfect. My future self is studious. My future self is disciplined. My future self is a great steward. My future self, it's going to give money to the church. One day, my future self. But meanwhile, my present self is a mess. And sometimes I'm making future self decisions in my present self, hoping that I will get to my future self. But then when I do get to my future self, I realize I'm still my present self. But now I got future self problems because I put my present self ahead of where I needed to be. It looks like this. I'm getting ready to start working. So now I take on more debt because when I start working, I'm going to actually be able to pay it off because I'm getting ready to start this job. So I make a future self decision because my future self is better, but meanwhile, I'm still my present self. And I make all these promises not based upon my present self. I make all these promises based upon my future self. And when I get to my future self is still my present self because I never changed me. And so I changed my debt situation, but I never changed me. And now that I've changed my debt situation, I now realize I'm now still my present self, but now with more debt, more problems because I made future promises and future obligations based upon what I thought was going to happen. And there's an old statement that says, don't count your chickens until they hatch. But because my future self inspires me, my future self is what I'm going to be. My future self, I'm going to be. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's going to be different this time, only to realize it's still the same you. Sound familiar? Future self versus present self. And here's the other part is that the whole market industry, marketing techniques, all money, just all business, all industries are all geared towards inspiring you to make future self decisions, though you're still yourself. That's why you see all these credit card companies advertise, spend money and you're going to have all these perks and rewards. Spend money and you're going to be able to do this. Don't spend your cash, use your credit card because use your credit card, you're going to have all these rewards for using your credit card. And all you got to do is, I'm always reminded when I'm on a flight and they say, hey, get your airline credit card today and we're going to give you this many miles. And because when you use it, you're going to be able to do all that's a future self decision. It's a future self. But if you don't have good discipline with your present self, you will get that credit card based upon your future self and then do all the things until it's time for that first payment. That it's time for that thing. And now you spiral out of control because you haven't changed and fixed and disciplined your present self. Sound familiar? And it happens all the time. And the world, the industries, the marketplace understands our psychology, understands how our minds work. It also understands our sociology. It understands our behaviors. But this is a season we got to stop and address our present self. We've been minding our business. We've been meddling in our business. We've been missing business. My God, are you missing business? But I want to end out with this teaching here about money scripts. Money scripts. Um, Money scripts. When I heard this teaching, it's by Dr. Kuntz, I believe, who came out with this in 2005. When I heard this, it was so resonant because it made so much sense. So pretty much, money scripts are unconscious beliefs about money that shape how we think, feel, and behave financially. And they're often formed in our childhood. They're unconscious beliefs about money. So we don't really think about them. It's not like they're forefront. They're always subconscious or unconscious that just happen, beliefs about money that shape how we think, we feel, and behave financially, how we deal with money. The best illustration is we're all actors and we've been given a script. And so whenever it's to our part, that when there's financial situations arise, we just play out our part. And we do it without even thinking about it because we already have been given a money script. Makes sense? And so here's the thing that impact or that start this whole money script off. Most times they're multi-generational. In other words, they're often inherited. How have you ever thought about how your mom handled money, how your dad handled money, how your grandparents handled money? Those practices most times are trickled down because we're taught these things indirectly. We're shown these things indirectly. We're taught these things indirectly. So they're multi-generational. Next, they're formed early in life. So usually in your childhood, there's been the beginning stages of these money scripts that have been written, and then after a while they become sealed. Because if anyone knows about childhood development, most times things become concrete in the earlier developmental phase of our life. Once those things are sealed, they just carry with us. And again, you could be walking out a script and not even realize it because nobody told you until now. They're subconscious. We often don't realize them, but we hold on to them. It's just the way we are. They're also emotionally charged, especially when tied to scarcity or trauma. Ooh, they're emotionally charged, especially when tied to scarcity or trauma. So those that have the money scripts that are based upon the fact of scarcity means we never had. So we think about this. I think that one illustration they gave was someone's parents had came through the Great Depression. We're during the Great Depression. Many people didn't have much. And so the illustration was a man who never put his money in the bank because during the Depression, one day he had all his money in the bank and one day it was just gone. And so if you've lost all your money in the bank, guess what you'll never do again? Put your money in the bank. So he never saved it. He never had any investment-like savings. He always had his money in some jar or can, so it never collected interest, but it was always there. But he never put money in the bank because he never trusted the bank because he had trauma from the time where he had money in the bank and it was just gone. That's that illustration. There's other illustrations where if there is a mother who's working 2 or 3 jobs, just trying to save up to just keep the rent paid. So she never had anything for herself because she worked and never had. Then that trains when a child sees that, it trains that you got to work just to provide. You got to work this many jobs just to get this done. You got to work this many. And then we can't really do anything because we don't have anything because all we're doing is working and we can't sit down. And so we work ourselves because we've been just to have. So it almost gives it's never enough because I gotta just. Emotionally charged, especially when tied to scarcity or trauma. Here's the other part. Many times they're only partially true, but they're treated by the brain as fully true. They're partially true. They have a partial truth to them. But these money scripts, but they're treated as the brain as fully true. Here's the other part. Because money is a taboo topic in many families, these beliefs are rarely examined or challenged. So if I've been walking out a money script all my life and nobody ever talks about money with me, then whatever that money script is never challenged. It could be partially true, but I never know that it's only partially true because I never had the conversation. And when you talk about it, if we'll deal with the different kinds. If I'm avoiding of money, then when you talk about money, I get stressed. So I don't want to talk about money. I don't want to deal with it. Let's just not deal with it. Let's just put it to the side. So we ignore it. But the unfortunate thing is most times these money scripts are predictors of our future. They're predictors of how we're going to be in our financial state in the future. And so these are the things we kind of went through in regards to manuscripts. They're the co-authors, the playwrights that join together to put together these manuscripts are most times flashpoints, things, our first experiences with money, our first experiences. There was an illustration where if the illustration was a young girl who was sent to the store for the first time with money to go get some milk. And there was only a little bit of money left. And so she goes to the store, she gets the milk, she comes back, but she keeps the change. She tries to hide the change. She's then reprimanded because where's my change? Give me my money. And so it was only a little bit. So that level of, that's a flashpoint. That flashpoint taught that girl that you're not good enough to have any money for yourself, because that little bit of change, though it seems simple, it meant something to somebody else. So it sent a wrong message, but it was a flashpoint. So now it becomes a part of the money script. Another thing that is another co-author is our behaviors and outcomes. Our behaviors and outcomes. Just like I told you, when the man that was in during the Great Depression, where his behavior was, you put money in the bank, you should get something out. Even further, I've been watching a lot of documentaries with the wifey when she stays awake, and we were watching the documentary about Bernie Madoff and how people were putting all their money, because they have great confidence that this guy is the guy. So they put all their savings, all their money, because it was going to work, it's going to work, not knowing it's a whole Ponzi scheme. Here's the outcome. The outcome is when his whole empire came down, they lost all of their savings. So that level of trauma with money, and say if you're a child, or say that level of the behavior was put all your eggs in this basket. The outcome was all your eggs get lost. So now that teaches you don't put your eggs in one basket. So it's these things develop, these kind of flashpoints start, and behaviors and outcomes become co-authors to our money scripts. And so we have to be mindful of them. Our money script number one is money avoidance. Money script number one is money avoidance. Money avoidance. What do you mean by money avoidance? Money avoidance is the kind of it's the thought pattern to where people try to avoid money. It's a negative. Whenever you talk about money, there's negative emotion that's attached to it. Concepts like this or principles like this are written in there. Rich people are bad people. Money corrupts. Money makes you feel better about not having. Money is self-destructive. These kind of principles in money avoidance, people that have the money script of money avoidance are always pushing money away. Like let's not talk about money. Let's not deal with money. It is what it is. And so what happens is this money avoidance script becomes bad, because these are people actually that will never budget, because if you budget, that means you got to talk about money. If I don't want to talk about money, then I never budget. So instead of having a budget, I'll just see how it goes and just hope everything goes well. They're avoidant of money. And even when discussions about money come up, there's a huff and a puff. And why we got to talk about that? Money avoided. The bad problem is there's a consequence to that. The consequences most times, these are self-destructive. Self-destructive script is also will leave people impoverished, leaves people without savings, leaves people without budgets, because they're avoidant of these discussions. So even this discussion about money, probably money avoidant people, makes them feel. It makes them tighten up. These are also the kind of people that when church has to discuss things that are about finances and things that money avoiding people are like, why we got to talk about money? Guys are always talking about money. So they hyperbolize one situation or exaggerate or exacerbate one situation because I just don't want to hear about it. I don't want to talk about it because I don't have it. Money avoiding. The second one is money worship. This is different. Money worship is where I gotta have more. Give me more, because if I have more, I'll be happier. If I have more, so these people also have patterns of overspending. Usually use more credit cards. Materialism is tied to depression, which is tied to depression. Money worship is gotta have more money. Give me just money, 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 money. Everything's about money. Everything's about money. Money, money, money. Oh, if I just because there's an association with the more money you have, the better you will be. These are also money worship people are the ones that the commercials that seem that if you have this, you'll have this level of like if you can just get more money, you'll be better. If you can get more money, you'll have more peace. If you get more money, you have more joy. You get more money, so there's always a chase after more because what I have is not suffice. If I just get more because I gotta have it, it's good, good, good. Give me, money, 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 money. Money worship. You see how and that's where it talks about the love of money is the root. Now, money does answer all things. Somebody say amen. Money answereth. So, but money is the root of all evil. Now, here's the problem with money avoidant people. They take money answers all things. They don't like that scripture, but that money is the love of money is the root of all evil. They take out the love out and just put money is the root of all evil. Money worship people go back to the other scripture says money answer all things. I need more money because I got a lot of questions. I need more money because I need more answers. All right. So we have to be careful of money worship because money worship also leads to patterns and these patterns lead to poverty. Let's just say that these patterns and these patterns lead to poverty. So money worship individuals most times have poor money spending and spending habits, which leads them in a place of low net worth. I told you about that. There's no savings. There's nothing but just gotta give me more, give me more, give me more. The third one, the third money script is money status. Money status. In other words, these individuals are aware I made it. So because I have this, I'm successful. Because I have this as a marketing employee. So if I have this expensive watch, I can buy this expensive watch, and this gonna make me look a certain way because I want everybody to know that I got this expensive watch. Meanwhile, you can wear a Gucci bag or have a Gucci bag but have no money in it. You can have a Louis Vuitton sweatshirt, but don't have any money in the bank. You can have this fancy car, but you can't even afford the gas to put in it. And if anything break down, you're stuck because you couldn't afford it. The money status is the people that flex, what they call flex a lot. We flex because, we want to show the world that we made it because we got this, And so many times these habits of money status people, they grow poorer, they flex because of a social status. Everything has to be new and shiny so they can say, look what I have because I have this and that means I must be better. I have this because I had this, I was able to buy this and you can't buy this, so I'm able to be with the Joneses. So I'm able to keep up with the Joneses. But the only thing, if everybody, anything about the proverbial term about keeping up with the Joneses have real money. And most times the Joneses don't really flex. I find many people that are actually wealthy and have a certain level of wealth don't flex. They don't show a lot of wealth because, again, I'm going to get to the fourth one. People that have a lot of vision spend more time putting money into things that are going to bring a return. A car, though, you roll up with a new car, even if it's old, if it's new to you. If you have a car that you just got, people will say in the church, "Oh, look at that blessing! Oh, I got blessed with a new car." Oh, a car is not an asset; it's a liability. It's depreciating more and more, and the more you drive it, the more it depreciates. When you drove off the lot, it dropped down $5,000. It depreciates. I wish I could tell you all the horror stories I've seen and lived in regards to automobiles. But if it is in certain minds, it is a blessing. But the blessings of the Lord maketh one rich and addeth no sorrow. The blessings of the Lord maketh one rich and addeth no sorrow. So sometimes before we say this is a blessing, sometimes before we say, oh, look what the Lord blessed me with, let's challenge and see whether or not, is this really a blessing? Or is this adding sorrow? And so the fourth one, the last one, the last money script is money vigilance. Money vigilance. Money vigilance are people, individuals that money should be saved and not spent. They're very tight with money. They don't put out a lot of money. They don't spend a lot of money. Most times, this is the one healthy perspective or the one productive or predictor. If you're a money vigilant person, that means they have tight budgets. They're very tight with money. They don't spend. That's stupid. These are the ones that listen to Dave Ramsey and follow all theirs. These are your people who are savers, who dog out people who spend. I don't understand why you spend on that. These are people who always think retirement, think future, money vigilant. They're always very conscious of spending. And so their script has probably been formulated. If there's some level of trauma where we didn't have, then we don't spend now. We do have it, but also money vigilant people always underplay what they have. I don't have any money, child. We don't make no money. They can make great money, but say they don't have any money because they're always underplaying. Because if you act like you don't have, then you don't have to put out like you do. It's a mentality. There's also, though this is the best money script to actually have, there is a slight, there's a threat that's there, because what actually money vigilant people can do can be so vigilant and so hyper vigilant on not doing, they send off the message to others who don't have that script that you can't spend, you can't have because you're not good enough. or we never have. So that can be a trigger point there. But money vigilant people are great because they carry a slight level of anxiety when it comes down to money. We have to save because we never know when something's going to happen. We can't spend now because we got to save for a rainy day. We can't do this, and so that level of balance. These four perspectives. There's money avoidance. You don't talk about it. Money worship. Talk about it all the time. Money status. I have this, so I am. And then money vigilance, which is where let's save, let's not spend, let's not. These four perspectives are all out there. There is a test if you want to kind of go out and to look at this. The flashpoint, or the not flashpoint, the strategists have suggested go to moneyscript.com. These people should give me like an endorsement, check or something like that. I'm giving all moneyscript.com. Or it's either moneyscript.com or moneyscript.org. Moneyscript.com or moneyscript.org is one of those. I can't remember which one. And go take the test and see which one of these you fall within. You can have more than one, and you have what's called a cognitive dissonance, where, say, if you're money avoidant but also money worship, where you say, I don't got no money, I don't want to talk about it, but I sure would like to have what they have. That's a cognitive dissonance, where you're taking two different things that are opposed, but you're walking in both of those reality. You may want to find out what your money script is. But then they say point two is start journaling or going through, how did you observe your parents, your mother, even if your parents weren't together? How did you observe your father deal with money? How did you observe your mother deal with the money? And observe that, even if you want to go back, and then examine and see whether or not those are the same patterns that you are abiding by. I've seen a couple of already, as I've done this for myself, a couple of habits and kind of principles I've watched my father do with us early, and I was like, that's a part of my money script. And so once you do that, one, check out, decipher which one are you. Second, look at all your patterns. Try to determine what your money script is. And then thirdly, the challenge is, if there's unhealthy habits, let's try to work through how do we break those. I have more in store for you in our next session, but I just want to give you a recap of what we talked about on Sunday. Hopefully it's been a blessing to you. Send us a feedback, send us an email, send us something, drop it in the comments if this has been great information for you. God bless you, love you so much. See you real soon. Stay safe and stay warm, and let your faucet drip. It's going to be freezing. God bless you.